Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. Welcome to the team show. And yeah, that was a very nice tribute to Robert Walls. I saw that on the Channel 7 X account. Thought that was a great way to start. So yeah, sending condolences to Mr. Walls and his family. I didn't really get the pleasure of watching him play or really coach. My memories of Wallsy were more so when he was a commentator. And yeah, sending condolences again. And yeah, sad way to start. But the best way to honor him would be with a great win tomorrow night, Friday night, SCG against the Swans. And that is what we're here to do. We'll put on a great show, team show, and then hopefully this will be the beginning of the conversation as we beat the Swans. That's the hope. So yeah, hope you're all doing well. Great to have you here. We are here on Thursday, the 15th of May, 2025. We are brought to you by Mr. Cabinets, who is a second-year sponsor of this show. And yeah, how are you all? What are you all up to? How was your day? It's 5 p.m., just passed. The day is over. Who have we got here? Tom, you were here early. Young's going to take Grundy to school as Pito may not play. Pito will play. Pito will absolutely play. Hello, Logan. You love how the teams have gone from wanting to find out the real team to now waiting to see if the leaks are correct. True. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. Yeah, this stream has definitely evolved. Aiden, a coworker that you fancy and that you have a great working relationship with. Her birthday is in a month's time. You got the birthday card and Ferrero chocolates ready. Wish me luck. Wow, Aiden pulling out all the stuff like a month in advance. Did you write the birthday card? I have so many questions. I hope you hand wrote it. Hello, Graham. Furby. I did meet Daniel last week at the G. He's a good man. Dusan, hello. Chills. Good morning to you, Paul, all the way in the UK. Big opportunity tomorrow night. G'day, Shane, Damien, Sean, you are here. Smeagoff, you are here. Jojo and Bailey, Stacy. Hey, does anybody have memories of watching Robert Walls play? I was too young, far too young, so I don't really have particular memories of him as a player. There was one particular clip that I did want to play. This was from 2023 when we were going very poorly and very few people were talking about keeping Vossi. And I remember hearing this back then and I wanted to play it because I thought it was a really interesting bit here. Have a listen.
People are pointing the finger at coaches. I had a look at the coaches at Carlton since David Parkin left. David Parkin coached in the year 2000. So we're, 23 years down the track. Parkin, sacked, or he'd had enough. Britton, sacked. Pagan, sacked. Ratton, sacked. Malthouse, sacked. Barker stood in for 14 games but didn't get the job. Bolton, sacked. Teague, sacked. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you think of what Richmond did with Damien Hardwick, 7 years, and a lot of people are saying he had 7 years and the results weren't that great. People said he's got to go. They persisted, and 3 premierships in the next 5 years. And we've seen it with Bomber Thompson at Geelong after his 6th or 7th year down there. Not a lot had happened. Get rid of him was the call. They stuck with him, and they ended up winning 2 premierships, and then there was the third one when Chris Scott came in. And even Chris Scott got a premiership in his first year, but then it took another 10 years to get, and there were a lot of unhappy Geelong supporters in the last decade, but got the premiership last year. So all of those people calling out for Michael Voss to be sacked, shut up, because I was really pleased to hear Brian Cook come out to say he will coach his contract out, which is this year and next year. Well, obviously, next year is an important year for him. You need to see some good signs there, but these people who are abusing the coach, I just say lay off, because it's not just the coach at Carlton. When you've had 9 of them get sacked over the last, 20 years,
Yep.
you've got to look beyond that and say it's more than just the coach. The players have to take more responsibility. I just wonder how much the players demand of themselves and of each other.
Loved it. Loved it at the time. It stuck with me in the moment, and I'm glad to have played it there. So, and I think it rings true. I think it absolutely rings true. Who else is here? Jason, hello, mate. Julie, Vince, Dione, Paige, hello. Adrian, Danny, Zane, Kate, saw you. Neil, lots of you here. Very early. Lots of you are here early. This is good. Jonathan Tedelato. That means Eric is due for a comment in about 15 seconds. All right. Got a bit to get through. We're going to get through the press conference. Speak of the devil. There he is. We're going to get through the press conference, Vossi's press conference. We are going to look at the fixture. We might look at the fixture first, because from rounds 16 to 23, we have confirmation of what's going to happen. And there's a few other bits and pieces we'll get through, and we will chat amongst ourselves. And at 6:15, 6:20, final teams will come out, and away we'll go. Tatum's tantrum. You're right. Don't forget to hit the like button if you are watching here on YouTube, which all of you are. All right. Firstly, I want to look at the fixture that was confirmed earlier today. So that's one less meltdown that we can have. Round 16, Thursday night, Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. 7 days later, round 17, 8 days later, Collingwood rematch. Round 17, 7:20 p.m. Friday night. Then a 6-day break until round 18 against the Lions at Marvel Stadium. Then there's a nice 9-day break until we play the D's Saturday night at the MCG in the Carlton Respects game. Then, unfortunately, this was the one gripe that I had. It's the 5-day break. I had 5-day breaks are they're tough. So this will effectively be 3 games in, 14 days. So we've got to manage it. But 5-day break, Thursday night, Hawthorn at the MCG. Then, what's that? A 9-day break at Optus Stadium, Sunday graveyard shift, 5:10 p.m. So that's going to be a late finish for us on a Sunday night. Then we go to round 22, 6 days later, Suns, Marvel Stadium. And then 7 days later, we play the Power again at Marvel Stadium. Then there's one more game after that, and that's the Bombers. But I guess the final details of when that's played will be given to us a little later. So what were your thoughts about this fixture announcement? Have you had a chance to look through it? I love it. Lots of prime time. I personally love Thursday night footy. I know that some people don't, depending on what you have going on in your life with families and the like. I love Thursday night footy. The only thing, so that's a positive. The negative for me is the 5-day break against the Hawks. I really want to try and beat them. And that's also going to be the third game in 14 days. So we'll play on the 10th of July. We'll then play, I guess 9 days later. So there's a nice break there. But then from there to there, that's tough. So we're going to need to manage that pretty well. But what did you think? Jawa, not too bad. More prime time, which is what you love. Yeah. Prime time Blues. Why don't we have Sunday games? That'll probably be Essendon 3:20 when finals will be determined or not. Yeah. Well, we've got Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and we've got one Saturday Arvo game, which is that Port game in that block. Can't really complain with any of it. Vince, you think it's perfect? Sean, you can't sleep after a close Thursday night game. True. I like Thursday night at the G better than Marvel, says Hyde. Prefer Friday night games than Thursday. Yeah, I definitely do prefer Friday night games. I like Friday night. I love Saturday afternoon. And I also love Saturday night. Any night game, really. Shane, you will be in Bali for round 23, which will mean the bounce will be at 11:20 a.m. Morning bintangs while watching the baggers. That's great. Gavin, you liked it. Wayne, you're just concentrating on this week. I like that. I like it. Dione, super fixture. No excuses, just win your dogs. Yeah. The AFL is buying what we are cooking. Yeah. I think it's going to be a fun second half of the season, personally. Friday night against the Pies, get it in ya. Yeah. I don't care what people say. We can beat them. I don't care. I don't care. Don't care what anyone says. It can be done. Anywhere, anytime. No excuses. It's good. Eleanor, you love Saturday games. You can watch the replays. Neil, prime time. Can't beat that. Hard for your Louisiana time zone. You are in Louisiana. Mate, that's cool. If you are, well, that's late. You are at 2:15 in the morning? Have I got that right, Neil? If I've got that right and you'd like to call in, I'd love to hear from you and anyone else. That's the link if you want to call in and have a chat. I do also want to watch the presser, Vossi's presser, because I haven't done it. I want to react to it live. So that was the first piece of information. Oh, you're currently in holiday in Thailand. Okay, amazing. Aiden, where are you at? What would you say? When do tickets come out? I'm not sure. Tickets for the Bombers game, the King's birthday, come out on the 20th of May. So 5 days from now. That I definitely know.
Mac, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Sorry, I just had to open the lights. It's getting dark, man. Melbourne weather. And yeah, just gets so dark. That's the one thing that I miss about summer. Gets dark too soon. Anyway, how you doing, Terry?
Man, I'm good. I'm pretty keen for tomorrow night. There's a bit to get through. We know that Tom's not going to play. We know that Pito's going to play. We know that. Wait, do I spoil it or do I just wait?
Everyone knows.
I don't know if everyone knows. I don't know.
No, I think Jordan Boyd plays and Matt Carroll doesn't. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, and then we'll just wait. Maybe we'll just wait. I don't know. I don't want to like ruin the. I don't want to like tell the kids that Santa's not real. The ones that still believe.
The tooth fairy isn't real. Hey, it's
funny,
look,
mate. The leaks, the mail is getting out of hand, but it is what it is. Apparently, De Koning's out.
Yeah.
And Pito's in, Boyd is out. Sorry, Boyd is in, Akers is out, and Carroll is in, and Cowan is out. So we'll see. Yeah,
that's what I've heard as well. Yeah, I think it's better as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, Terry. When we played them last year at the SCG, I think we were playing both Pito and TDK.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to show you something, right? I want to show you some stats from that day and what caught my eye, right? So let me just go to let me just go to Carlton, for example. We'll just rank it by. So Pito had 20 touches, 17 hitouts, and 11 clearances, which was interesting. De Koning he didn't play very well at all.
I
6
remember.
touches, 3 hitter. I don't really recall the context of the game, so I'm mindful of speaking out of tune there. But yeah, it obviously didn't work, and we got smashed. So 1 ruck, just Pito, and I don't know. Like, I mean, Newman was our best player on the day. Kennedy might have been not too far away. He's not playing, so I've been saying it all week. I'm not confident. I'm hopeful. What do you think?
Whenever I think about the SCG, there's that the memory of Chad Warner just looking back and just laughing and just bouncing the ball and just just being outside the defensive 50 area. That just haunts me, man. That's that. And if there's any player that I'm a bit wary of, it's not even Heaney, to be honest. It's Chad Warner, because we tend to lose him in the contest, and Jack Sinclair showed it in the last game. That if you lose these kind of players in the contest, they can hurt you. And Chad Warner certainly finds a way against us. I don't know. He does against most teams.
He's a great player.
That's what I'm off. But truth be told, Terry, like I think playing Pito just kind of provides us with a different look, because sometimes we bank on TDK so much because he grabs the ball out of the rock and then plays as a midfielder most of the times if he's not winning the hitouts, and then that provides us with a point of difference, yes. But then we see sometimes when he plays against good rucks, and Grundy is not he's not a thug. He's actually a pretty good player. That TDK sometimes suffers. That's why we were saying that last week against Marshall, he kind of struggled a bit. And that's why I think like having Pito and then also second ruck as either Lewis Young and even Harry, if he's struggling to get hold of the ball, is going to work in our favor. And if we're a serious team, which I think we are from what we've shown in the last 5 games, I think we should clinch this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking here. So, I mean, Rowbottom had 16 tackles with his 19 touches last year. Obviously, Heaney was great, and so was Warner. They kicked 6 between them. Goulden, 722 meters gained. He's not playing. I don't know if McLean is playing.
I think he's doubtful.
Not sure about it. I think he's out. Taylor Adams, I don't know if he's going to play. Papley's not going to play. No. Cunningham's not playing. Logan McDonald, I think he's still injured. Amati, I think he's returning. So
I think
it's a different story.
It is. And that's what I'm saying. Like if Amati plays, he'll be undercooked for sure. And he's one of those players that either he's too good on a deck, can kick 6 or 7 and then have like no touches at all in the forward 50. To be honest with you, last week, like obviously they are on the ladder where they are right now, and that kind of plays into the narrative as well. But I feel like we should win this, Terry. Apart from it being the SCG, I don't see a reason why we can't beat them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember going into this game against the Swans at the SCG most of the time, saying about Harry and Charlie and our weapons, and even reading and listening to the Swans fan sentiment around exactly that with fear. But it just, for whatever reason, we haven't been able to capitalize on having those weapons. So listen, defend well, move the ball quickly, come with the right attitude, and we can win, no doubt.
And James Rowbottom, I think Hewitt stops him because James Rowbottom is the one that is the contested player who is really good with the ball. And if we stop him, that would go a long way into winning the contested battle and the clearances. And that's where it's going to be one for us. Fortunately or unfortunately, we are a contested team, and we play more on the inside. We don't want them to go on the outside. We don't want to play the game on the outside because Sydney is a shorter ground, and you know how that affects us because quicker ball movement would affect us. But they don't even have a target up front. Even if Amadi plays, I don't see them scoring a bag on us or scoring like a bigger score. And from what I've seen, the weather forecast is it's going to be, it's not going to rain at the time, but it's going to be slippery conditions, which makes the game a bit iffy and a bit tricky to deal with. But I think Walsh on the wing would help us a lot, and we need to keep him. I don't know who James Jordan goes to. That's going to be a watch, but I think last
Gone
time
to,
he Walsh, didn't he?
yeah, the last few times he's done the job on Walsh. So yeah, I should also note last year Jacob Wiedering got the corky early in the first quarter, and then battled out, and then was subbed in the third quarter as well. So there was quite a bit that just didn't go right for us last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And I think we are better for it from that time and from what we've seen against St Kilda, because that could have easily been like a banana peel that we could have slipped on. But that was a good performance, good 4 quarters, and I think we can do the same against Sydney. And I just want to know your where you are at in terms of thinking if we're going to win it. My prediction is 10 to 12 points. What do you think?
Again, I'm hopeful. I'm not confident. And if we win, I think it'll be super close.
Yeah.
I think regardless, it's going to be a pretty good game. I'm
Mm.
going to play a clip shortly with Adam Simpson talking about the game, and I don't know. I've heard a lot of different opinions on the game. Ranging from this is make or break for Carlton season, and if we don't win this game, we're done. Season's over. And then I've heard the opposite of that. Adam Simpson seems to be in the former. He seems to be saying this is whoever loses this game is done. So I don't know. I just think we as a footy viewer love to draw conclusions a little early because we have a recency bias. So I think we can win. Not confident that we're going to win, but I hope that we do.
You know what's funny, Tez? Lastly, that the narrative changes week by week against Geelong, or we lose a back baby, and then we lose against Adelaide. Oh well, they're in the trenches, and it's funny how the media works because they have to obviously find something to create a narrative, otherwise they won't have a job, isn't it? But I feel it's with the draw that we have, we literally, if we don't, even if we don't mess it up from here, Terry, and we win the winnable games, not even have to win the questionable games, we should be in the 8. And as for Sydney, it is a do or die for them because their fixture is harder than us. So I think that's where the narrative is for me, like looking at the games and the teams that we have to play. More a desperate situation for Sydney than for us. But then we've seen that when teams are more desperate than us in the latter half of the season last year, and then even this year, they do a number on us. But I hope that's not the case because Saints were desperate and we held them. Geelong was a big game as well. It was like 1995 reunion, so that was a good game and we held our nerve. So I'm hoping that we've learned our lessons, mate.
I hope so, mate. Hopefully speak to you tomorrow night. Or tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I will, for sure. 100%. Go Blues, mate.
See you, Danny. Take care. Bye. James with 2,000 Japanese yen. Thanks as always. Night games can be tricky with the time difference in Japan. Sometimes miss the first quarter. Give me a Saturday night game. Hey, thank you, James. We are collecting. Is it just me or are we collecting more and more internationals? Thailand, UK. Haven't heard from Jade in Italy in a while, but Jade from Italy. We get a couple in the US. I like it. All right. Vince, I see you. Let's get you in, mate. You want to have a chat? Let's have a chat. G'day, mate.
Hey, how are we going?
Mate, we're good. How are you?
Loving life, mate. Just waiting for the rain.
Waiting for the rain to purify the earth, purify our souls, and wash away all the sins, and we can reset again.
Oh, I do that every day, mate. I live at the beach. Yeah, I meditate every day. And I go and walk and reflect every day. It's part of life. Surely we all do that.
Go to the beach?
Yeah.
I don't live close enough to the beach. I used to. A few years back, I used to live right across the road from the beach. But I do love a good walk out in the fresh air when I can. Absolutely.
Either way, whether it's at the beach or walking in the fresh air, it's great. It's God's love. But, we've all missed the point this week, I think.
Okay.
Robert Walls was not just a legend, he was a real legend. He got sacked in 1998, 99. I can't remember. One of those years. And we made the finals too, mind you. But we mistreated Wolsey as a club, as Elliot did back then.
Yeah.
But then we go on about this, and I've got to be honest, this Silvani crap that I've been seeing in the newspapers, that's bullshit. That's real bullshit. I can tell you exactly what happened there. Silvani went into Ludicosia's office. He said, either it's me or Little. What are you meant to do?
Wait. I want to know what happened with Walls. I wasn't around. I was too young with Walls. You were saying he's a real legend. We sacked him. I'm lost.
All right. Young Wolsey won the 87 premiership.
With Carlton?
In 88, we lost to Melbourne, semi-final. In 89, we lost to Brisbane. Back then, it was Warwick Kappa who kicked the last goal. My God.
50 metres out, I'm reading here.
Hey?
I'm reading here. He got sacked in 1989 after the Bears beat us at Princess Park. Kappa kicked the winner from 50 metres out.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
So we didn't do the right thing by him there.
Okay.
But I don't think so. Anyway, in my opinion, it's my own opinion.
You started that by saying he was not just a legend, he's a real legend. So, what made you say that?
What he did while he played for us was unbelievable.
Okay.
What he did when he worked for us, again, unbelievable. It's all about what they do for us as a complete Robert Walls, legend. David Parkin, legend. I can't say many more after that, though. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Patrick Cripps, absolute legend. Anyone wants to complain about that one?
No.
Go me, please.
Vince, what about tomorrow night, mate? What are your thoughts about the Blues and the Swans at the SCG?
The Blues will win by about 7 points.
Yeah? Confident?
Yeah. Very.
Really?
Yes.
It's party time if we do.
Oh, well, I don't want to party yet. Okay. Let's just win that one, and then we'll party after that one, eh?
Let's party when we win the flag. How about that?
Oh, mate, I've partied after flags. But
wish I knew.
Yeah.
Very good.
We will touch base when we do win the flag, you and I, for sure.
I hope so.
Yes.
Thanks for calling in, mate. Hope you have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
See you, mate. All right. Hey, let's watch the presser. Because I see Vossi's in a cap, in the blue cap. Where are we? Here we go.
Up in Sydney. How excited are you for a Friday night clash at the SCG?
Yeah, Friday night. Really big game. You know, I think you sort of state the stage of the season that it's at. It's obviously a very important game for for Sydney and a very important game for us. It seems like every week we roll into right now has some added importance to it. But no, we're really looking forward to it.
How has the chat been, I guess, harnessing the momentum off that St Kilda win to springboard your season?
Oh, I think we're all sort of probably, everyone in the competition is probably looking for that element of consistency. And we've put a fair good body of work together now over 4 or 5 weeks. We let ourselves down a couple of weeks ago, and so we got a great response out of the boys last week. But clearly, obviously, we come in with a new venue, new stage, new week to be able to roll out what is important to us. And we know that the game always starts around the ball, and we've got to give ourselves a really good look there to give ourselves a chance.
Obviously, in that St Kilda game, there were a few injuries. Who can we expect to come back as a test?
Coming back, I was just thinking off the top of my head, obviously Tom won't play, so he'll be confirmed out for us. So he obviously got a knock last week in the larynx, and we sort of waited, thought that settled down, got some further advice on it, and sort of felt like it wasn't worth taking the risk. So he comes out. That means that Mark Pitnet probably comes in to be able to relieve in the ruck. I guess Pitto's been in some really great form himself. The best he could possibly do is, just state his case through form. He's been able to do that and played some really strong VFL football. So I'm quite familiar with what he can do, but it'll be a pretty important tussle in the middle of the ground with Brodie Grundy.
In terms of Tom De Koning, how long are you expecting him to be out for? Is it just this week?
Yeah, hoping it's this week. Yeah, we're fully expecting it'll settle pretty quickly. But it was worthwhile just further investigation, and once it settles down, it'll be right to go. So we expect that to be next week.
So just to clarify, was that during training?
No, it was during the game last week. But come out with the husky voice, and we sort of thought that it'd just be a knock to throat and be okay. But obviously, by the time we got into yesterday and still hanging around, just warranted a little bit more investigation, and sort of felt like we just needed that to settle for another week before he becomes available next week.
What are you expecting from the Swans, and probably in particular about how they line up this week? I know Dean Cox mentioned yesterday the potential of bringing in a Pete Laddams to give them that sort of true ruckman role that they might look to make the most of now that Tom's out. But what are you kind of expecting?
Laddams. Pommy, you're in the chat.
From a Swan side that maybe hasn't been playing at their best footy so far this season?
I think our experience has always been that we've just got their very best, and certainly SCG, we haven't had a great recent record here, so we have to amend that. But we also recognise we don't play the venue. We've got an opposition that's a pretty good opposition. They've been a very good team over a long period of time. They've got plenty of weapons that if they have their own way, it'll be a tough game. So we're not expecting anything different except their best. And having played against them in some really good games, we've got a really clear picture on what that looks like. And they've always built their game from pressure out first, and we sort of know the speed they can put on the ball if given the opportunity. So they're going to give us a bit to think about, but we'd like to think also that we're clear enough with what we need to be able to get done, and we've still got to make sure that we bring the best of us to be able to give ourselves the best chance.
So Doug Nicholls around this week, there's a big rivalry between the Blues and the Swans. They've built up for the last 10 years or so. What does it mean to you and the club?
Oh, it's critical for us. I mean, anytime we get to be able to speak to our culture and be able to learn off First Nations people and the story they get to tell, it's it's really significant for us. And what I love about the jumper and any design, it has a great story behind it. And, obviously for us, this one has, it speaks to our values as a football club and really connects our community. And, we go about playing a football game, and I've spoken about this, just recently. And it's, 4 points is obviously really important to us, but so is making our community proud and, our people proud. So we get to represent something significant this week. As you said, there's been a, traditional, I guess if you want to call it rivalry in this round, with the two teams playing against one another. So we're sort of hoping for a slightly different result though.
And what have you guys done this week in the lead up to it? Have you had people come in and speak to you?
Yeah, today we'll actually have Luke and Sienna come in and talk to us about their design and their jumper and the meaning in behind it. Obviously we've got Mott's here as well. That we'll stand side by side with them and get to understand him. I mean, Zach Williams was knocking on my door every single day this week, wanting to play. And I just said, mate, sorry, you're not allowed to. You've got a calf injury you're recovering from. So he's not Superman. But yeah, it just sort of shows you just how important it is. And so we'd like to acknowledge that. We'd like to acknowledge the right way. And some things are about, bigger than the game, and for us, it has added importance to us.
Obviously, outside of footy, it's quite a poignant day for the footy community with the passing of Robert Walls. Obviously, someone heavily connected to this club, I guess, from a Carlton perspective. What kind of message would you like to share to the Walls family and the wider community?
Our deepest condolences. I've been in recent contact with Robert in the most recent of times over the last 3 or 4 years. He's been, a mentor to me for even further than that. He was my first coach at the Brisbane Bears. He's a genuine hard ass and really taught about professionalism and work ethic, and didn't accept another standard except the best. And so while he was hard, he also drew the best out of you. And I'm sure he's had an impact on a lot of people over a long period of time. But as far as what he means for the Carlton Football Club, he's taken legend status for us. So it sort of probably shows just how high a regard he's held to the Carlton Football Club. He'll be dearly missed. He's obviously got kids himself that are a bit older. I think he has 7 grandkids that he leaves behind, but he leaves an incredible legacy on our football club and has had a lasting impact in a lot of people, including myself.
Do you have a story about him that you'd like to
Oh, too many. Oh, my God. I've copped the greatest sprays of all time from Robert. So other than, I was 16 years of age when I was playing for the Brisbane Bears at the time. And so whenever we flew, we had to fly in alphabetical order. And so it was VW. So there was myself, there was Robert Walls, and there was Darryl White. And Whitey used to always take the window seat. So it meant I always got stuck next to the coach. And because I was in year 11 at school, I used to have my maths, and because he was a teacher, I used to just try and break the ice by asking him for some advice about how I solved the maths problem, because I didn't want to ask him about football because we weren't very good back then. So we lost a lot, but that's probably be one of my more fonder memories, as hard as it was for that 2.5 hours to sit beside him. It was also a great opportunity to be able to know him, the man, not just the coach. And he's been an incredible mentor for me over a very, very long period of time.
Just quickly, last one on the footy. We obviously saw a really good performance, sort of intercepting-wise, over the last few weeks in terms of the likes of Nick Haynes really coming to their own. It felt like a point of it in the Swans game against Essendon last week that they kind of got found out. Is that something that you look at and go, maybe that's something we could have a bit of strength at, or do you expect sort of the Swans to almost play it really differently because they weren't able to have that success last week?
I think we're always trying to pull apart where we can lean into our own strengths and what do we need to take off the opposition. It's a constant challenge that we have, and I guess that's the arm wrestle that you get into. But I think what we've also got to look at is that while some things got taken off them, they were able to get back into the game and almost sort of pinch it at the end. And so that's what we tend to look at is what are they going to bring, and their strengths have been on show for longer than a week. Their strengths have been on show for a number of years, and whether that's Heaney, whether that's Warner, whether that's their halfback run, whether that's presence on the floor in the forward line, they've got a lot of strengths that they bring. And so anytime you're playing against sides like that, you need all your system to be going well to give yourself a chance. And it starts around the ball, and that's where we want to make sure that we get it right.
Yeah, right. What did you think of that? Great tribute to Wolsey. What were your thoughts? Not much really about the game. A little bit about the injuries. Not a bad thing. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty stock standard press conference. Grant, you were 18 when Wolsey and Kernahan lifted that cup in 1987. Wow. Danny, fresh haircut. Thank you, man. I did get a fresh haircut. Speaking of, glad you brought it up. Jordan Boyd has a fresh snip, fresh haircut. I saw the photos somewhere. Someone in this chat is cringing as I talk about hair. But Jordan Boyd, he's just shortened it a little bit, and I think he's done well. With it. I've got to find the photo. GBC, yeah, look, Warner and Heaney both kicked 3 goals last time we played them. What do you guys remember from the last time we played them? This is what sticks out in my memory. Warner, untouchable. just seemed like when he got the ball, everyone was just allergic to him. Boyd legacy game incoming. I remember, I don't think this was last year. I think this was the year before. This was when Harry was having his struggles in front of goal. He had the yips or whatever you call it. And I remember Nick Blakey all of a sudden becoming a lockdown defender as well as a halfback running halfback flanker. Heaney, just, again, untouchable. These are just the memories that stick into my head. However, I do remember last year, Pitternet in particular, looking strong in the ruck. So there's that. Jordan Boyd also played last year. Danny, the hair theory is real. You don't care. You don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't either. It's true. Yeah. Hey, if you want to ask questions about hair, I will happily entertain. I won't bring it up anymore. It's a touchy subject. But I did see the photo of Jordan Boyd with shorter hair, and I thought it looked good. Can Pommy add haircut / salad analysis into his algorithm for the ratings? Yes, we can do that. We can do that. Hello, Brody. You are in Bali at the moment, tuning in. How good? Whereabouts? Where are you? Hello, Sandra. You've been here not commentating Vale Wolsey. Yes. Gavin, you're on board with hair-related form. Yeah, I'm there. Kylie, you didn't know Wolsey was Vossi's first coach. Love the way he reflected on Wolsey. Yeah. Jump on, Pommy. Yeah, Pommy, if you're around, jump on. Stop me from talking about hair. I actually want to play another clip that I thought was interesting today. This was Adam Simpson talking about the game. Where is he? Check this out. See what you think.
Look at a couple of games, so let's just look at a couple of games, so you would have thought Carlton versus Sydney, the loser of that is almost done. Is that a fair call? Because if you're going to make finals, someone's just got to drop out. So that's one of the games I would have thought. It's definitely, you're starting to think, geez, we're going to win the 9 of the last 12 games to make finals. When you start doing that maths, you realise it's tough. Port versus the Cats. I think Port would be starting to think that pretty heavily. Freo versus the Giants. So Fremantle, if they don't win this one, what's that take them to? 4 and 6. Yep. The Bulldogs and the Bombers probably both could get away with a loss there.
Anyway, it was that comment there which grabbed my attention. Thoughts? Do you read so much into this game that it's make or break, win and the season's alive, lose and the season's over? I'm curious. Hello, Explicit Empress. Frankie and you will be Blues Abroad from next week for a month. You will have to call in. Miko, you remember, it looked like they didn't want to be there last year. Now it's obvious there were some injuries in there we didn't know about. Yeah, there was quite a bit going on. Scotty Tompkins, you believe it's pronounced Valet? I think you're talking about Robbie? No? Oh, you mean like valet? Ah, yes. Thank you. Hello, say Pash. You're on day 4 of 75 hard. The channel's getting you through the 2 times workout per day. Also, any word on Chincotta? Yes, Chincotta will play this week, VFL. And I might be mistaken, but I think Pommy will be doing a Pom Cotta watch along tomorrow. So he will be back soon, which is exciting. But good luck. 75 hard, you're brave. Good for you. Paul, fixtures just released covering round 20. You get to watch your first live Blues game at the G against the Hawks. Great news. We look forward to having you there. Pommy, anyone else find Adam Simpson about as interesting as a post-American Revolution history? Like, yeah, it's important to hear about. No one gives a shit. Pro Founts. It's just hard if we lose. So much ground to make up for. Yeah, that's fair. I personally think the fixture is a good fixture for us. Not trying to get overconfident, but I see winnable games more than what I don't. If we get into the finals, then all players should get number 2s all over and start playing angry. Yeah. So it's over for us, but not Sydney. They're 3-6. Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. This is where it stands right now. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that I'm looking at the ladder so much this early into a season, but I'm strictly on ladder watch a lot more than what I'm not. We did the ladder predictor with Pommy, and then we did it again on Footy Abroad on Tuesday night. I need to reset this. This is where it's at. As it stands right now. Sydney get right back into the equation with the win. And we kind of are there or thereabouts with 4 wins. And we, yeah, I don't know. I don't have so much stock in this game. It's important. But yeah, positive until the end. Season's not over until round 24. That is a fact. Damien? The way the season's been going, who the fuck knows? Exactly. Walls dropped Sauce for the 1986 grand final, and Sauce cracked the sads and almost asked to be traded to Fitzroy. I did not know this. Does anybody else have random Robert Walls facts that I or us won't know? Like memories that you have? I had no idea this was a thing. Hitting the buy ahead of the ledger is huge for this group. I know they are chasers historically, but I think knowing they are in it and hopefully the is that percentage is huge, would require 2 wins against New South Wales. Hello, Faz. It's not about this game on its own. It's about the fact that we lost to Richmond and the Dogs. So a game like this is a must win because we are coming from a long way back. When did the Dogs become such a bad one? Like in the same sentence as Richmond. I like the Dogs. I think they're good. Tom.
What's going on, Tez?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Bullish about the week to come.
Mate, this is the most hopeful that we are before a game.
That's it. This puts us even Stevens, and then we just go on from there.
Amen. And then, as Pommy says, it's the frauds at Marvel Stadium next week.
Yeah, there it is. It's just, it all begins. But, I mean, a bit worrying playing at the SCG, and without TDK, it changes the ledger a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I don't know. I think, yeah, Harry on the Ben and Harry podcast sounded pretty bullish about playing at the SCG. So, I think it's good. But, yeah, Taylor Adams coming in makes it a bit of an interesting affair. I think back into the midfield for them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I dare say they'll bring him in by how much of the contested ball they lost against Essendon last week. I think he's a big in at the feet of Grundy.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a worrying sign, I think, that we've got to be on. And then going from there, you got Rowbottom as well. That's going to probably follow Sam Walsh around everywhere. So I think George Hewitt's impact all of a sudden becomes pretty important if he can keep up that level, just to sort of take the pressure off a bit. And as much as I know a lot of people are going to hate me saying this, I think Doc will definitely be playing this week. We need bigger bodies against Sydney. plain and simple. Even though they've always been tough and strong around the ball, even though they're not a hugely contested side. Doherty just adds that little bit more of a bigger body when Akers is going out. So I think that'll definitely be an in. And then we go from there.
Yeah.
Hopefully
said
George
earlier-
Young can stretch Grundy a bit if he sort of plays that ruck forward role. Because he'll definitely need to chop Pitto out because he's going to get tired pretty quickly. But it's just, that thing we've got to worry about.
It's weird. This was a week, usually with teams that we come up against, I've watched them a bit and I get some sort of a read. My perception of the Swans is skewed. So I went digging into the forums this week, the Sydney forums, and I was on I've been on Big Footy checking their pre-game.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Well, you know what? It actually taught me quite a lot. I actually, well, first of all, there's not as many people talking about it on their board. And I don't know if that's because they've given up a little bit, but there's a general sense of negativity and pessimism from the Swans in the forum on Big Footy. It might not be anywhere else, but I found it really interesting. Isn't it? Well, it happened last year. They were talking about the Harry Mackay, Charlie Curnow weapons that we have, and they've always had that respect. But yeah, a lot of what I read was similar to what we read here. Like they were saying, Dean Cox, he doesn't have he's too soft at selection. As opposed to Sam Mitchell. Like I'm telling you, they read. It sounded exactly like us. Same things. No plan B. Not hard enough at selection. Doesn't do what Sam Mitchell does. The modern game this, the modern game that. Yeah. I just think they're going to come out with a different intensity, the Swans, because they've been spoken about, and when teams have their hardness,
their backs against the wall. And
man, when they get
Sydney up against the wall worry me. Like I know they're not the Sydney teams of old, but they're going to have, you don't want to give Chad Warner a reason to be good. You don't want to give Heaney a reason to be good, because they're the blokes that are just going to carve us up. And as much as we're starting to be a lot more stoic in defence, Haynes, Silvani, and that playing on those smaller types is sort of untried yet. We've played a lot of teams that have got a lot of bigger forwards. Like St Kilda last week was probably the first time we have seen our talls are taller than their forwards. And I think that's going to sort of happen again this week. So having to back it up on a smaller ground is sort of the big change, because our structure changes a little bit. We don't get to spread out as far. So, Haynes goes one way, McGovern, if he plays, goes the other way. So we just, sit and wait and hope that structure works for the smaller ground, being the SCG. And hopefully Sardi can have a big game in the number 42. I think that'd be a really good thing to see. The SCG is built for Sardi to get off the leash. And, I don't know if Boyd plays, to be honest. I know that's the mail that I'm hearing, but I think they're just going to hold Boyd back to play against GWS. I think he'll be primed and ready to go to play on their smalls as well, because he's got the speed and the foot skills to carve up GWS.
Fair. What's your game day routine tomorrow? What's it going to look like?
Well, tomorrow I've got to work, so I'll be working and then jump on the game day and have a watch, see if the vibes are a bit higher than last week's were. So,
hey man, last week was grim.
Last week was not good, but I mean, if we go into it, I think winning ugly is going to be the mantra that I'm going to sort of watch the game with. Just like, I'm not expecting us to blow them out of the water. I'm not expecting, free flowing ball and beating them by 50 points. Like, if that happens, amazing. But I just think Sydney know how to defend their ground really well. Our foot skills aren't at that top level to carve them through. So, it's just like last week. Just got to win ugly and just get the job done. I think that's all it's going to be.
That's why I was kind of hoping to see Jordan Boyd, because I think that's one that we can really exploit.
Yeah, I think they're a bit afraid to tinker with the back line, especially if McGovern's out.
Yep.
We saw what happened with Adelaide. Having a few changes in the back line really threw off the karma and sort of the the feng shui of the the back line. So I don't know if McGovern's out, Vossi's going to be too happy to pull the trigger there.
Hey, I like that. The feng shui.
Feng shui, yeah. You don't want to throw it off, but yeah, I think you got to persevere with Ollie. He's doing good things back there. He's only going to get better with ball use if he plays more time in the ones. But the biggest player I'm watching this week is Jesse Motlop. Small ground. We're looking for that explosive player. 50 games. So Doug Nichols round. No Zach Williams. I reckon he's primed for a big one. So I hope they sort of put it on him this week and be like, you've been in all the media this week. Go for it. Like, just let him go and just let him run. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be the big key to the game for me as well.
No, I'm with you. He really needs one.
He needs one. Like, he's been thereabouts. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people be like, oh, that was a good fourth quarter last week, and he had a good second quarter here. He kicked 3 goals against North. Like, he did all these little one quarter there, 1 quarter there. But St Kilda, Sydney's the team where he's going to have a bit of a license to run a bit. So hopefully he uses it and, yeah, it doesn't miss. And I want Will White to not kick any behinds, because I reckon he's got a 4 to 5 goal game in him this week. And that's the one. I think that'll be, yeah.
I love it. We call what you just said, what do we call them? We call them the Lalas.
Yeah.
The Lalas before the game. So,
we'll see how we go. Have a good one.
Stuff. Might see you in the
Speak to you
morning for the game day.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, man.
Just see you, mate.
Jeff, you watched him play. He's a real champ. He is a champ. Hello, Faz. The Dogs' loss was a bad one due to the major injury list. True. That is fair. Pommy. Wow. Ayo.
Ayo, how you doing?
Mate, I'm ready.
You've had a good stream.
Yeah, so far so good. I don't think there'll be a meltdown at team selection. I really don't.
There shouldn't be, should there? Let's be honest. Probably will be, but there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the memories of Wolsey. All I remember of Wolsey, obviously because I'm new to the game, is when he came in as coaching help and that famous vision of the 6-goal run on, and he's listening to us give our coaching address and him looking like, what the fuck is going on here? That's when I knew it was bad. That's why it was bad, when a guy with a resume like Wolsey's looking like, what the fuck is happening here?
Have you heard that there was one piece of commentary that he was doing when it was like 1 HD? Have you heard the commentary that he was doing on Brett Thornton? Do you remember that? Were you around for that?
I can't really remember it, no.
All right, check this out. This is hilarious. So he's commentating on the game. We're playing Freo. Don't know what year it was, but take a listen to this.
Has played it way off the ball. So Hadley's got the free kick. Got to get back, move it quickly. Handball's off to Walker, who pumps it long. Henderson's there. Hayden, big mark. It is against Thornton. It is against Thornton, and he is just so stupid the way that he can play this game at times. It is just ridiculous. How many times does he lose his cool and hurt his side? Is that abusive language, Wilson?
Need more of that. I
agree. Just say that's watch along areas.
We've said far worse. On the watch alongs, but I mean, obviously a legend. The L word's overused, but I always think when someone does unfortunately pass away, the memories of rivals and adversaries alike and what they say about them kind of sums up the human, and it's been absolutely overwhelming, isn't it? The tributes to Wolsey. So, I mean, a legend is sometimes overused. I think. But in this case, it's definitely earned.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. I've heard about the data and the percentages and the algorithm, but what do you actually think about tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm glad Jen's put the dimensions in. That's one of my favourite things. It's one of my favourite things. Like, you know, when people start talking about the ground dimensions and you're talking 5 meters short, like that's what 3 good healthy strides. So it's not really an excuse. Do you know what I mean? If you look at the GMHBA, that's astronomical. It's like 30 meters difference. But
is that really the difference? Is that all? Is that all it is?
Yeah, it's nothing at all. It's nothing at all. Like, do you know what I mean?
I have this perception. 5 cent. Okay,
like 5 meters is. If you speak to players, they don't. You speak to players, which I've been fortunate to. The one that throws them is GMHBA, because like I think it's from memory 25 meters width difference, which is very noticeable.
Yeah,
like very noticeable.
Is it maybe the way that the center square is painted, and it seems like the 50-meter arcs are closer?
I don't know. Like, trust me, look, like from a golf background where measurements is, if you tell me what would I notice more, 5 meters or 25, 5's still quite a big margin for error, but it's not noticeable.
Right.
It wouldn't change your aim that much if the green was 5 meters in to the left compared to where it used to be last time. It still changes. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. Paulo is
I'm
in the
looking
chat.
forward to this one. This.
I am.
You know what? I don't often agree with Adam Simpson, but I would agree with his synopsis. I said that in the preview, that you've got to kill a team to be in the 8, and obviously both of us were in the 8 last year. So I think it's like a mental win, isn't it? That that's the way I'd look at it. We win the games against the 8. This is one of the games that you want to win.
Yeah. I think I jumped to conclusions of the season early again after the first month when we were winless. And now I've just been reminded about waiting until the end. Because any run can happen at any point. I think that's where I sit. That's also very, very copium.
Look, Vic Bias, they made me believe in Vic Bias last year, right? And I started to come round to Vic Bias.
Yeah.
There is definitely AFL conspiracy for Carlton to play finals, right? And I'll give you my evidence. One, the fixture is ridiculous. Like, for a team that finished in the 8 2 years in a row, Banterville, right? 2, look at the time slots they've given us for the back half of the year, because it is a statistical fact from every sportsman. It's better to set the target than chase a target. And Carlton get early fixtures in all the run-ups so they know exactly what they need to do. So we have the AFL well and truly on our side. So... Do you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, clip this, opposition fans. There is a huge Carlton bias. Do you know what I mean? A massive Carlton bias at the minute. Like, because this fixture list, Banterville.
It's good for business, mate. The Blues in the finals.
Massively. Do you know what I mean? Massively. So you won't get a gift horse like this.
This is interesting. John has another memory of Robert Walls. During the infamous Battle of Britain game in 1987, Wolsey lost it after Clarkson's dog act and threw his 80s-style brick phone at the North's coach, John Kennedy. Luckily, it missed. I just love how direct he spoke with everything he did.
Yeah, a bit of honesty is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on.
Of course, they want us playing finals. They've fixed it up for generations. We just keep messing it up.
Look, if you were Vossi right now, you would have seen the time slots, the fixtures, and you'd be like, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? We're not having many opportunities where we've got to chase the rainbows.
The only one is that Hawthorn game off a 5-day break. That's the only one that I'm a bit wary of, but you can't have it all your way.
Oh, 100%. But like, you'd be very happy with them time slots. Like, I personally would be. If I was coaching the boys, I'd be like, okay, cool. We get to set targets as well, put a bit of pressure on. We're right in the towards the end as well. He's fantastic because we're right in the middle. So, just got to take it a game at a time, though, haven't you?
Hey, can you give us confirmation about the Pom Cotter watch along? Is it happening?
It is, yeah. So tomorrow we will be live. You've got me 3 times this week, so we'll be doing a double live tomorrow. We're doing a Pom Cotter special, as much requested, watch along. So we'll be heavy on the Pom Cotter love. We will be. Looking forward to seeing our boy return, the prodigal son, the channel's favourite. So we're looking forward to giving him a bit of love and big return for him. And it's all opening up for him, isn't it? Them midfield forward players keep getting knocks, keep being out of form. So hopefully a big one from the Pom Dog tomorrow.
Oh, he would be the perfect injection in there.
Ah, surely.
He really would. One of Will White, Motlop, Durden, Fogarty. Like I'm sure he could take one of their spots. And for the rest of the season,
mate. Look, you would say that the big hole that's opened up is that, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to seeing him play, and big rehab journey for him.
Yeah,
and probably 2 weeks in the VFL. Bang the door down.
Yeah.
And come in.
No, I'm excited for him. And speaking of hair as well, he obviously has he got rid of all of his on his head. Well, that's it. But it suits him. He's got like the whole Voldemort thing.
Maybe fear of being critiqued by you. I'd say more than anything else.
No, it's he's got like the whole Voldemort look going on now. It makes him look more shredded. And he is pretty shredded.
It's a pretty good trick for his Tinder, isn't it? Just shave your head, you'll look well ripped. But I just like to think he's seen our analysis on hair and gone, you know what? Just slop it off.
Nothing better than a bald Italian.
Can't pick on me if I have no hair.
I rate it. No, I just think there's certain. I like to point out when hair is good. When it's bad, you won't hear me say too much. You hear me say where it can improve. Like I did notice Cooper Lord touched up his sides. His little fade here. I did notice Cripps touched up his sides. And I did notice that Jordan Boyd's gone a little bit shorter.
Well, it's a great week. It's a great weekend to be a VFL for footballer as well, because you play Sydney, who are like second worst in the VFL. Like that,
right.
Obviously their seniors have been decimated. But then you've also got Williamstown or Carlton C team, as I like to affectionately know them. So you've got 2 really easy games to really put some numbers on the board, put some form on the board, and try and get back into this team. So hopefully there'll be a bit of pressure, because I do think the small forwards at the minute, why Evans is playing, we've covered this quite a bit, you and me.
Yeah.
There's no one there. So suddenly now, in the next 2 weeks, we get Chincotta back. He can put some furnace up their bum.
Well, yeah, we are. I just want to bring up this fixture, right? Teams VFL. Do they have the VFL fixture? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. You just got to click the drop-down competition, Taz.
Gotcha. I want to forecast the next couple of weeks, because the injury list is actually starting to pile up, to be fair. And so I want to see, because you know how sometimes we have a bye and it usually coincides with the VFL bye and we get dicked. So that's tomorrow. The week after. No, it's happening again, isn't it? It is.
It genuinely does.
Our buys coincide with the VFL.
So let's have a look. Let's put them both uniform side by side. So it makes it easier. Right. So we're playing this week, 24th of May, we're playing.
Yeah.
So our bye is the 1st of June.
Yep. And
Yeah,
the
so they
VFL are going to have
coincide.
a bye.
They mirror.
Ugh.
So, but I mean, this is a bizarre one, this. And this is something that it's weird because Chris Scott's finally complained about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big one, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's a big one. Once Chris Scott complains about it, it'll get changed. But Chris Scott's
Then
already
you know.
started chuntering that the VFL doesn't align with the benefit for the team.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be changed next year.
And then this is the current injury list. And I guess you can add Tom De Koning, or you can replace Tom De Koning with McGovern. And so now we've got,
injury list looks fairly healthy, doesn't it? Because Mitch McGovern is expected to play, so he'll be fine. TDK, by the sounds of what Voss said, is it's only a week.
Yep.
And then what? Blake Acres probably that guy does his shoulder every week, so I'm sure he's accustomed to it by now. So then it's really only what? Cottrell, Cowan, a post bye. Next week will be interesting because Fogarty will be returned, but Chincotter's got a week to maybe make him play VFL. So suddenly there's a bit of coming back for that forward pocket position, which is nice.
So Cincotta will be off this list next week. Williams will be off this list next week. And then potentially Fogarty and Cowan. And obviously McGovern. Okay, yeah, it isn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a great argument as well that with Zach Williams having his injury history, you give him the extra week and just see him out to the bye, don't you? So, I mean, in an ideal world, this week, the boys all play well.
Yeah. Well, we are 1 minute away from having the 3 changes that have been rumored confirmed. Imagine there's a surprise one, and then it's just like Doc.
I'm fairly confident this week because, do you know what I mean? The source is a little bit more reliable than some boffin in a suit in it, so I'm looking forward to it.
I think LS put it in here.
Can you? I just try and get in the psyche of the people who release it. Can you imagine? I couldn't think of anything worse as a human being than being mates with someone that wears a suit to a football game, but also gossips as a male. If you have got a leak at the football club, ask yourself serious questions of the people that you hang around with. It's a reflection on you.
Unless there won't be any surprises. So apparently, Voss did definitely confirm TDK for Pito in his presser.
Look, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if they do find the leak, because I remember last time being told a story at one of the functions that they deliberately leaked 4 different teams to people they suspected.
That's what I want to do.
That's what they did.
I want that to happen.
But like I always say, when people leak, like us needs to ask serious questions of the guy talking to him, because it's heavily written in their contracts. Like it's a sackable offence. So if you're willing to lie and pass on intel, imagine what he'll lie about yourself. You can't trust people like that.
7 News has confirmed the leaks are correct. Let's find these snitches, put them on the cross. Carroll, Pito, Boyd, in, out, TDK, Cowan and Akers. We will have the teams on screen in 4 minutes, hopefully.
So they say.
Yeah, so they say. Unless Champion Data servers go completely up the wall. Hey, question. When is it too early to do the predictor for the rest of the season?
Do it when you want, mate.
No, well, obviously I have been.
Yeah, but mate, don't be ashamed of who you are. You're a positive.
No, I'm not. But like, there's the common opinion. What do you think that would be?
When do I start predicting the outcome, like openly, publicly? Probably about round 16.
Same. Everything in that regard, in my experience, has come early. I've been doing predictors early.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as it's not, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's like, it's a bit fun, isn't it? Like, I'll probably do it every round and then adjust, like, my predictions and just try and get a good idea of where it is.
Yeah, fair. LS, the leaks aren't a big deal. And from what I've been told, the club doesn't care as long as it doesn't get out on the Monday or Tuesday. Okay, fair.
Yeah, but I think the issue is, LS, these ins and outs were released on Tuesday morning when they have the meeting.
Breakfast before we lost on the Friday night in 2023 at the SCG. Yep.
But I think it's fun, isn't it?
I think it's fun. Look, there's so many elements. There's so many elements to covering a season. Like, there's just so much happening. The one thing I think I've learned about it is to try and not get stuck in the mud, because everything just keeps moving. Nothing's really that big of a deal. The next thing is happening. The next injury is coming. The next bad loss is on its way. The next good win is on its way. The next scandal is on its way. The next leak is on its way. The next article about what's happening upstairs is on its way. That's the one thing I've tried to learn, to try not get stuck too much in the moment, but also live in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. 100%. I mean, look, as a content creator, you are damned if you're happy. You are damned if you're unhappy. You're damned if you sit on the fret fence. So, I mean, the way I look at it, without being harsh, do you know what I mean? I couldn't give a fuck what people are upset or happy about. I'll just do my content. So, Terry, honestly, you do you, mate. Fuck everyone else. Do you know what I mean?
I will, mate. I will. The next dick pic is on its way. I hope not. Well, we did have old mate, the young fella pissing on the tree, which I think is going to go down in folklore.
You know, well, like that kid symbolized how I felt for most of the year this year.
Oh, look at him.
Pitto. Pittonet.
My man. Oh.
Good to see him back as well, isn't it?
Carlton's made a trio of changes. Confirmed a throat injury would sideline De Koning for the Doug Nichols round, while Blake Acres' shoulder and Lockie Cowan hamstring are confirmed outs. Pitto's been recalled for his first game of the season. He's going to go head-to-head with Grundy. Matt Carroll returns for his fifth game after missing last weekend's win, taking up a place in the Blues' backline alongside Jordan Boyd, who has been named for his second game of the season. The Blues have named Boyd and Carroll on the interchange alongside Francis Evans, Will White, and Lewis Young, with the Blues to name their sub an hour before the bounce. Lucas Camporelli, Sam Doherty, and Hudson O'Keefe have been named as emergencies. Interesting. This will be Lewis. This will be I'll get there. This will be this will be Lewis Young's 50th game in the Navy Blue after his arrival at Icon Park following a trade from the Western Bulldogs. I didn't know that. There you go. This will also see Jesse Motlop's half century in the Navy Blue coming in a special round for the small forward. The Blues' Marn Grook at the SCG clash with the Swans kicks off from 7:40. Okay, first thing, emergencies. Lucas, Hudson, Doherty. Hello.
Well, I mean, I think the Hudson one is self-explanatory, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Look, if Pittonet, heaven forbid, something's up with him, you haven't got a ruck, and do you really want to have Harry and Young doing it on their own? So I think that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Lucas and Sam, they're bi-positional, so it makes sense, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And nice to see. I mean, I think the big talking point is I mentioned this on the selections. I've got to give the VFL, the selections, a bit of credit this year. They haven't tried to ruin and stamper development. I do like the fact they've held Binns back. I do like the fact they've held Boyd back. I think Boyd's been by far our best VFL player all year. So I'm really excited to see what Jordan can do in this game. He will be hungry.
Yeah. So Holland's, Wiedering, and Sard. Interesting to see Holland's named in the pocket. Haynes, McGovern, Silvani. Elijah, Cripps, and Binns. Cooper Lord named on the field there with Mackay and Walsh. Durden, Kerno, and Motlop forward line. Then there's the standard Rovers in Chera and Hewitt with Pitto. Boyd, Evans, Carroll, White, and Young. Who's the sub?
You know what? I've got a sneaky feeling that Boyd is sub.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just can't. I just think when I look at that team at face value, there's too many halfbacks.
I would have thought, yeah, I guess Ollie's going to play the Akers role. Well,
Wasn't
do you look
Boyd sub versus Sydney last time we played from memory?
No, it was Jack Carroll.
Who
came on?
Boyd was sub in one game, and he came on and did well.
This year?
It might have been this year. I just vaguely remember.
Yeah, he's only been in one game this year, and when he was there, he was the sub. But yeah, I was looking at that before. That's how I knew.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because it won't be Lewis Young, will it? I mean,
well, let's have a look at the team,
because they've mentioned his milestone, haven't they? So it's his 50th game, so you wouldn't sub him for that. So,
amen.
It'll be Boyd. I've got a feeling it's George.
Okay, let's have a look. So for the Swans, I think that looks better.
No, Mills.
Oh, your boy's in, bro.
Who?
Peter Laddams.
Oh, I thought you were saying Joel Marty.
He's also in.
Big fan of Joel Marty, just quietly. Do really like Joel Marty. Whether it's too soon, because that'll be intriguing. But Laddams, never said a bad word about Laddams ever in my life. Quality player. He's just basically your unbranded. Really, he's just your unbranded Jackson, isn't he? At Fremantle. Really good, solid footballer.
Do you know what's just happened? First of all, Kareem, love this. For the first time, no complaints. Pommy, you've literally been given a chance to reset. Oh, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, legit. I've got a new methodology. I've noticed it watching other clubs as well, because it happened last week when I was watching an impartial game. Oh, yeah, that was it. First quarter of Connor Rosie, I absolutely lambasted him, saying, can you name me a more Mickey Mouse fucking footballer than this prick? And he went on and had a legacy game. So I have learned Peter Adams, world-class ruckman, needs respect. Look after him. Be careful.
Do you remember when you said it? Was it?
I do. It was Port Adelaide 2021, wasn't it?
No, I mean, like on what show?
It was the Monday show you did before that game. It was at Shad Jaddy. And I was like, it's happening, Terry. Get around it.
Okay. I wanted to find it. I couldn't. So
no, honestly, I remember. Look, I remember every good call and bad call. I remember it like it was yesterday. Terry, this is happening. We're back, baby.
Well, look, I remember last year we played the two rucks, and that was criticised at the SCG. The Swans are doing the two rucks against us tomorrow night, which I didn't think was a possibility when I was reading the Sydney forums. That wasn't what was spoken about. Are they playing Sheldrick? That was the other one. Yeah, they are. They're starting Sheldrick on the ground. A lot of them were calling for Sheldrick to be playing midfield minutes.
I'm very impressed that you're hacking into opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, it's always a good little thing. But yeah, I remember it. It would have been the round 5. So it would have been April the 10th.
April the 10th. Okay. I'll go back into
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was at 2021, right? And I remember it. I remember it well.
How could I
Radham's
forget?
legacy game. Cheers, mate. Dickhead.
Yeah. What other matchups? Oh, I don't know. I get confidence looking at those matchups, but
yeah, I mean, look, people talk rubbish and people like think Sydney are bad, but you know when we laugh at the defensive stat about Carlton,
yeah,
right? It's the same thing when you complain when you analyze Sydney. Sydney are still a bona fide ranked elite side at turnover and defensive half scores, which is dangerous. And if you watch my preview, the big thing that we both have in similarity, they can't score from their inside 50s. Neither can we. Both you are looking at the bottom 3 teams at creating chances when they go inside 50, and that's a big issue for them, big issue for us. So you've got to take these guys serious. Like, I don't care what the ladder position says. This is a team that on their day can hurt you. And I find it kind of laughable that people are writing them off. Sydney are a proper football side. And you look at, I've watched a lot of Sydney on the streams. They're in the games 90% of the time. It's just their own inaccuracy that kill them. And once that clicks, there'll be a problem. So they'll be thinking like Carlton, their fans, and I know a few of their fans. Once it clicks, we'll be fine. And we keep saying the same thing. We've got to hope that it's this week we click and not them, because they're a dangerous side.
I would like that narrative to start going in our favor when we're playing against a team where it seems like it's the perfect opportunity for the opposition team to get back into form, and then we just don't allow it to happen. And we have to make them wait another week to find that form.
100%, Terry, you nailed it. I look, going into this game, the Blues have just got to think, you know what? We played one of the more trickier teams in the league last week at having momentum, and we found a way. So come here, do the same. Don't let them have it their way. We play our way, force them into a little shitstorm with us. It's funny because the method to beat Sydney, there's only one way that you always beat them. It's your forward half pressure, which Foss prides himself on.
Yeah.
And the teams that have hurt them in their back half of the ground have had success.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fascinating this week. A lot will be riding on Corey Durden, Francis Evans, Jesse Motlop, making sure that's not an easy exit.
Yeah. Well, we do get to see Cooper Lord not as the sub, it would seem, which is the other little storyline here.
Yeah, well, he deserves it. I mean, to be fair, I'm glad because he's a curse, isn't he? When he's been sub, we've had an injury.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be feeling pretty safe now. If Fossey's watching, don't ever make him sub, because when he does, someone gets injured, poor bloke.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that for an ask? Can we not have to make a sub in the first quarter? That'd be nice.
It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be a lot. This is a big game. Big game for both clubs. I think the narrative of this game's not being talked about enough. It's a huge game for both clubs because it would have been a game at the start of the year. They would have penciled in a dub. And it's probably a game, if we're all honest, we penciled in a loss. I know I did. I'd written this off as one of the ones that we lose.
Yeah, I definitely did pre-season when the fixture came out.
And look, I'm sure every human being in the world had a W versus Richmond. So this is where you get one of the W's back. Do you know what I mean? You make this and suddenly round one is ignored.
Yeah. Feels weird. There's no meltdown.
It's hard for it. It's hard for it.
It is hard for it.
I do like the Boyd in, and I do like Matt Carroll. I'm really happy that Matt Carroll gets a chance to redeem himself after the poor week the week prior.
Yeah.
And Pitternet, like, honestly, I know people hate Pitternet, but this is a huge chance for Pitternet because people have got to wise up. Pitternet will probably be the TDK replacement. If TDK does choose to go, I would imagine Pitternet is going to be playing 15 games next year. Like, there's some mad trade rumors. Just go and get Jackson, but Jackson's contract is like 1.2 million. If Carlton let TDK walk, there's a reason. Well, it's because they're looking after their cap.
In a weird way, I was waiting to really have this point proven. Early in the season, a lot of talk, Pito's no good, understand all of that. This just goes to show exactly why you need to have a quality backup ruck just in case a random larynx injury happens late in a game and Tom needs a week or two off, whatever it is. Pito's more than a serviceable ruck backup.
Oh, amen. And you know what? Look at which team is getting the biggest kudos this year for their ball movement, Adelaide Crows.
Yeah.
And their ruck covers less ground than Pitternet. Like, it doesn't stop their ball movement. It doesn't stop their ability. And last time I checked, didn't Riley O'Brien absolutely tear TDK off the ground?
Yeah.
So, like for me, good teams do it. Not every team has a TDK style ruckman. They find a way. So, yeah, I feel like Pitternet gets a lot of hate.
Yeah. Plays the game the right way. He's an old school ruck. And you and I were talking about this on the phone earlier. Grundy doesn't play with his athleticism like he used to. He's moving more and more into the physical type ruck. Which
he's 100 years
now,
old.
Yeah, and now you're coming up against Pito, who only plays that style.
Yeah, and I think it was one of the matchups I talked about in my preview because I've recorded it before TDK had a larynx injury, and I was like, it's going to be an interesting battle because the untrained eye would say that this is the master versus the apprentice. Mm-hmm. But the trained eye would see, as you say correctly, Brody's changed his game. He's no longer the 35 touch ruckman.
Yeah,
he's now using his nous and his physicality. So that would be an interesting matchup versus TDK because that's probably TDK's biggest weakness at the moment as a ruckman. He doesn't know how to impose his game plan so much. And so Pitternet's got a chance. And I can say from the VFL, bar him going off with his sternum last week, one thing that has stood out with Mark Pitternet is his work rate around the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really impressive. Like last week and the week prior, his work rate around the ground was brilliant. I was actually shocked. And Issei makes a great point. Max Gorn says he was the hardest matchup, Pitternet.
Yeah. Well, he was flying in the preseason and he just happened to get that. I think it was a calf. Is that right? Was it a calf just before round one? Maybe.
Yeah, it was just soft tissue. Yeah, it was heartbreaking as well because I remember the intra club they did. He absolutely tore it up.
Yeah. So, and look, larynx. I think Ed Kerno missed 4 to 6 weeks with that larynx injury. I don't know how serious Tom's is. I definitely heard his voice croaky at the start of the week. So
it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one. To answer Grant, the club mentioned it's his 50th AFL game.
50th game for Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grant.
It won't be mentioned on the AFL because no one cares. You don't get milestones for your team. You only get milestones for total games by the AFL.
So it's right here, mate. We'll mark Young's 50th in navy blue.
Which is to be fair,
I didn't know it was his 50th game at Carlton until I saw this article. But yeah.
It's quite impressive for Louis. Quite impressive for him. I mean, he's had a... You know what? Me and Woody were plotting a video together, and one of the subjects we came up with, like, who's the most improved for your side? And I was like, probably Pitternet probably Jesus would be the layman's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But I was like, if you weren't surprised Jack Silvani can play football, I was like, Lewis Young in the forward line, would that be? I don't think anyone would have predicted that he would be serviceable. And he has been very more than serviceable in every forward game.
Yeah.
I was like, just quietly, if you were saying most improved, I'd say he'd be running second.
He'd be right up there. Yeah. It's had a good start.
Like, and credit where credit's due. He's putting in a shift. Quite impressed with what I've seen from Louis.
Imagine Lewis Young kicks another 2 in the first half tomorrow night.
You know the big thing about Lewis, and I'm a huge fan of this. Huge fan of this theory. Because it worked with Sydney last year that they stopped smiling. They stopped enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember doing a video and saying that it kind of worries me. It was about round 18. They stopped enjoying their football. Even though they were winning, there was something happening. Lewis, it's the first... I always describe Lewis Young in the back line as it reminds me of he's 21 working at McDonald's. Like, he's there doing the double shift and his eyes are like, I just wish I'd fucking tried at school. Should have done what Dad said. Fucking hate my life. Seeing him forward, though, he looks like he's genuinely enjoying it.
He's up for it.
And that's a huge part of it. Do you know what I mean? In coaching, that's something that you pride yourself on, that your students enjoy it.
Yeah. Michael, Reece Jones would say players need to reach 70 games before you knew what type of player they are. This year, he's certainly gone up a gear. It's been constructive, part of every win. He's gone up in Paul's estimations because he's a confirmed Arsenal supporter. There you go. Hey, Glenn, that's all you can ask for, mate. Just go out there and have a crack. That's it.
I really liked it, and I'm intrigued to see this three-pronged attack. We gave it a lot of kudos last week, Terry.
Yeah,
and
we did.
It's one of the ways that you stretch their zone. So Sydney have got a very, very loose zone. If you watch them play, it's a very everything's scattered. Dean Cox, that's one thing he's changed, especially their kick-in defence. You watch their kick-in defence, it's very scattered. They use a nice little scattered pattern. So it's going to be interesting when you put Lewis full forward, move everyone else out of it. It's going to be interesting how they do it.
Yep. All right. Well, that's us. Ladies and gents, the mail was correct. Flaggers. Lockie Cowan, Blake Acres, and Tom DeConing are all out injured. Mark Pitternet, Jordan Boyd, and Matthew Carroll are all in. We'll find out about the sub literally in 24 hours from this very second at 6:40 p.m. And
look at Terry. Fucking, you sad little man.
Hey, man, it's 6:40 p.m. It'll be 24 hours until we find out the sub.
Before we go and do our lives, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Blues in a thriller by 3 points.
Fucking hell, Terry.
Treat chat.
Oh, chat. Mrs. Pom's made tea. She's made, look. Can you see it?
A small pizza.
It's a Smalls pizza.
Eat it.
I think I'm turned on.
Oh, fucking hell, it explodes in the mouth. Feel like I'm back at university. Didn't expect it to explode that hard.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's really nice.
I'll read out some of these. Hey, tomorrow, chat, game day stream. I'm going to have to start it earlier. I'm going to have to start at 11:30-ish because I have to be off at the latest by 12:45. So we can hang out maybe at 11:30 tomorrow on your lunch breaks / even if you're at work, you can tune in. All right. Pommy,
I'll give you my prediction. I say Carlton by 17.
Mm-hmm.
TPI, Sydney, 9.9 points with that team selection.
Sydney to win.
9.9 points.
Okay. Fuck.
Statistically, Blues by 6.6.
All right. I'll take it.
Winning. Let's do it.
See you guys tomorrow. Oh, wait. What time is Pom Cotter watch along?
Palm Cotter Watch with Palm. The Palm Cotter Watch tomorrow is, good question, Terry. It's 10 minutes before the game starts, so that's 3:30. Yeah, 3:30.
Cool.
3:30 on my channel, and we're live both games. We'll have a 5-minute intermission. 3:30. Be there, be square. We're watching the Pom Dog.
Let's go, baby. A massive Friday coming up. See you all tomorrow. Go Blues.
Go Blues.